Welcome back. So in this video, we're gonna finally write some UI. And to do that, we're gonna make a Auth component. So we're gonna do a NgGenerate components. And I'm gonna put in the components directory /auth. And that should create it and put it inside of the app module right here. We're also gonna want to install Font Awesome because I forgot that we needed that. So yarn add font awesome. And once that's installed, we just need to edit the angular.json file to include font awesome, which is gonna go right here. So node modules /font awesome /css is it CSS? Yeah, it is. Font awesome.min.css and comma here. And let's see, we have prime ng and everything. Alright. And then one last thing before we get started. I'm going to create a new module. So NgGenerate module called UI. And that's going to be where we're going to import all of our UI components and other modules. I actually want it to be flat, so I'm going to put it at the root and delete this folder. And we're just going to import that in here. UI module, like so. And then for reactive forms to work, we need to import two things from Angular. We're going to alphabetize this, so put this up here, put this down here. So we need the forms module, and we need the reactive forms module, which is not auto importing. So we'll just do it ourselves. Import from @angular/forms reactive forms module and the forms module. There we go. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's delete all of our markup and put in here the app auth component that we just created. And let's do ngserve open. And while that's going, I'm going to open up the component. So this we're going to need, and this, and maybe the CSS, but I'm not there yet. So auth works, which is good. Now let's make this pretty. So where's my auth form? Okay. So in the UI module, we want a couple things from prime ng. Import from prime ng. First is the card. Then is some text inputs. Input text. And I think we also want some buttons. And with that out of the way, let's just import the things. So card module, input text module, and the button module. Let's get rid of this. And this module is just going to do import and exports. So it's going to have the exact same array of things. And let's see, it's correctly imported. Good. And that will allow us to write PrimeNG stuff. So the first thing I want is p-card, which is going to put all of the things in a card. And then, let's see, I want to make a div of ui.input group, and that's going to be span here of UI input group add-on with an I tag of FA user, and then inputs. Does this need a class? No, it doesn't. So type text, placeholder is going to be username. And let's put the directive of p input here. And anything else I need? No. So we're going to do the same for the next one. So if you don't know, I'm using Emmet, which is built into VS Code to write my markup a little faster. Input group add-on i.fa.fa-key and input tab, and this one's going to be type password. Placeholder is going to be password, and we're also going to add the p input. And there's our form so far, which looks pretty good. Let's also add the button, which I'm just going to do a button. I'll label it to be login, add the p button directive. This is going to be type button. And I think that's good for now. So that's our basic login form. We're going to make it a little prettier in a moment. But first, we're going to do the exciting part, which is adding the reactive form. So in the component, let's go. We need to inject the form builder, which I'm going to call FB, form builder. And we're also going to add the store of type app state. Make sure we're importing everything. And as a class property, we're going to have the auth form here, which is of type form group. Okay, so let's see. NgOn init, we're going to create the form. So this dot auth form is going to be equal to this dot form builder dot group, which takes in a object of form controls. So username is going to be this dot form builder dot control, and the default value is going to be an empty string. And we're going to pass in validators dot required. And you'll shortly see why the validators are important. So we're also going to do a password of this dot fb dot control, also a default value of an empty string, and validators dot required. Okay. So far, nothing changed. Also gonna open up the console, close that, and yeah. So with this, we can actually access the form, and we're gonna wrap all this in a form tag form, Get rid of the action because we don't need an action. And we're gonna put all that inside the form. And see. We need to give the form a form control group. What was it? Yeah, it was a form group. Alright, form group equals to the form that we just created, which is the auth form. And then on submit, we're gonna use the login method that we need to create right away. And I'm sure this is gonna break. Yep, because login doesn't exist yet. So login is gonna be a simple method where we're gonna get the value from this dot auth form dot gets raw value, and we're gonna console log it for now, so that you can see what the value looks like. But it is just an object of the username and password with the values filled in, which we also need to add to the inputs so they know what to look at. And form control name equals to, this one's going to be username, and this one's going to be password. Can't bind to form group since it is not a known property of form. Did I do something wrong? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Form group. There we go. Okay, so right now if we just do press the login button, which is of the wrong type, so I'm gonna change this to type submit. So activate the form submit. So if we press the login button, we get no values. But if we just add random text, we'll get the associated text. And yeah. Now, right now this isn't very impressive. We can just do a normal thing. But with reactive forms, we can do something a little better. With the button, we could disable it. Disabled based on the form's validity. So form, the name is auth form dot invalid. And whenever the form is invalid, it's gonna be grayed out, and we can't press it or click it. But as soon as it's valid, we can click it, and that's due to the validators.required field. But there is a slight problem. An empty space counts as a thing, and I actually want to create a file. Let's see. Let's make a directory called source app utilities and touch source app utilities validators.ts. And we're just gonna put in here a validator for just Whitespace, so that Whitespace doesn't really get by, and it's not it doesn't highlight the button when we want it to. So we're gonna import from Angular forms, and this is gonna be abstract control, which is just a type. But we're gonna export the function of validate Whitespace, which is equal to the control of type abstract control. And we're just going to check if there is whitespace. So is whitespace equals to control dot value or nothing in case there is no control dot value dot trim dot length equals to 0. Let is valid equal to not is whitespace. So if there is whitespace, then it's valid or it's not valid. And if there isn't, then it's valid. So is valid, no, trimmed, true. And this part is the object that's being sent to the reactive form. It's telling the form that this is the error that's happening and we can't let it be valid. In the auth form, all we need to do is just add it to the validators array. So we're just going to validate whitespace. Let's go back to my first terminal. And if we just do a bunch of whitespace, it won't go. But as soon as we press a valid character in both fields, it should go. Okay. Now let's actually make this login button do dispatch the login. So we're gonna do this.store.dispatch new login user, which takes an auth payload and which val is. So we can just pass in val here. Huh, maybe not. I think I have to do it this way. Yeah, that works. And while we're here, we're just going to do a register, which is going to look exactly the same. Get raw value as auth.dto, this.store.dispatch, new register user val. There we go. So if we're gonna open up our Redux store, I don't have my server up and running right now, but if we do a username, password, press login, should wait. Yeah, okay. It passes the user. I don't think you can actually see the actual payload. Can you? Oh yeah, you can. So username, password. Then it adds the error for not having the server up. So, which you can see that it's actually testing auth/login, which is what we want. So the only thing we have to do now is make this form a little prettier. So what I'm going to do is go to the background color of the main, this is the global style sheet. And I'm just going to give a background color of this hex code of 3E4551 to match the black of the theme that we're having. And then let's see, we're also going to want to add another button with similar attributes. So p button type, this one's going to be a type button, label register, disabled equals to auth form dot invalid, and then this one is going to get a class of, what was it, UI button info, So you get a blue button. And there we go. So let's just space these things apart. So we have a register button, login, and oh, we should also give this an event listener. So register, and of course this is lowercase. So we're just gonna do this. Press register. It goes to the what? Why does it go to the login? Registers calls register user. Store effects. Register user. Weird. Let's press that button again. Oh, here it is. All right. There we go. So we fixed the bug. That's good. Now users can register. Okay, so back to where we were. All right, styles. So let's see. I'm gonna put a div around everything. Should I? Yeah. Div here, and I'm gonna give this a class of auth form. No, yeah. We'll do the card actually. No, form makes more sense. Poop. So that's inside the auth form div. And then we'll put a div right here and give this class of auth form dash form. Put that in there. And then a div here with class of auth form dash buttons. And that should give us all the classes we need to get some things going on. So let's see, auth form here. We're just gonna give it a width of 60%. Margin auto to center it. Let's do an and here. This one is going to be for the buttons. I'm going to take the shortcut and do a display flex. And justify content center. And inside that, for each of the buttons, I'm going to give it padding of 0 and 1 rem, as well as a margin of 0 and 1 rem. And then and form is gonna be I'm gonna give the input group some margin 1 rem, and that should be good for now. And that what the hell? Oh, I forgot a couple rules in form, so I'm gonna display flex here. Flex and flex direction of column, align items to center. There we go. Let me just check one thing. Is it Luna Amber? Yeah. Well, oh, that's why. Okay. There we go. Now it's all pretty. It has a very black and orange theme going on. We have the register button, the login button, which both works. And we have reactive forms, so the buttons don't light up until it's valid. Okay, so in the next video, oh, it also has the invalid. Um, that's pretty cool. So yeah, oops. So in the next video, we're gonna hook this up and start creating our routes for our pages. And our application is starting to look like a real world application, which is great. And that's what I want. So git add git commit -m added auth form component. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.